beautiful people. If you don't know already, my name is Renee Davis, and this is my channel, She Sparks Change, where the goal is to spark a change in your mindset that will then spark a change in your life. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. Now let's take a few minutes to get inspired. So today I wanted to talk about trust, and I think there are different levels of trust. There's one level where, you trust that your mom or your grandma or your auntie can make that specialty dish of hers, your favorite dish, the one where you get so excited when she calls and tells you she's about to make it, the one that you know is going to be good even before you stick your fork into it. Yeah, you trust them because you trust their expertise. You trust the experiences that you've had every single time you've eaten that dish, and you know without a doubt that it's going to be good. And then there's another level of trust. At this level, you have no idea what the outcome is going to be. You have no idea what to expect. You don't know the expertise. You don't know the knowledge, yet you're still asked to trust. And that's the kind of trust I want to talk about today. When God asks you to trust Him to do the impossible. Trusting God with the impossible. Now, how many of you have ever been faced with an impossible experience where you had to trust God? I have a funny story. So I remember years ago growing up with my brother, there was a point in time in which that trust game was really popular. It was a game in which you had two individuals, one that stood behind and the other one that stood in front. And the person in front would close their eyes and simply fall back, right? Because they trusted the person behind them to catch them. And so one day my brother and I decided to play that game. Why not, right? I trusted him, he trusted me, let's do it. And so of course I went first, and being that he was older and about twice my size, of course I trusted him. So I got in front, I closed my eyes, I fell back, and he caught me. And it was great. And then he was like, okay, let's switch positions, where he was going to be in front and I was then going to have to catch him. So the whole time I'm not really taking him seriously, because I'm like, you're so much bigger than me. Of course you're not really going to trust me to catch you, right? And so we get in position and he's like, all right, I trust you. And he falls back and we both come tumbling down because of course I couldn't carry him, right? The funny thing is, he gets up and he's like, I thought I could trust you. What happened? And I'm like, me? You actually took it seriously that I was going to carry you? And as I think about that story, sometimes I think of the same way that I treat God. You actually trusted me to do that? You actually trusted me with that promise to carry it through? And I don't think that God asks us to carry Him. Obviously not. But He does ask us to carry His light. He asks us to make a difference. He trusts us with that. You see, God trusts us. He wouldn't have shown you the vision if He didn't trust you. He wouldn't have told you about the task if He didn't trust you. And get this, He wouldn't have sewn the purpose into the fabric of your life if He didn't trust you. God absolutely trusts you to do great things. But the question is, do you trust Him? I think one of the reasons why it's so hard to trust in God is that we undervalue what He's placed within us. You see, He's placed $1 million purpose within us, yet we treat it as if it's 2 cents. And then we go around and we're looking for resources and we're looking for provisions and we're looking for ways to make up for what we think that we lack. But can I tell you, the moment that He placed that purpose within you, He gave you everything that you would absolutely need. And so you lack nothing. So trust Him. And then there are others who maybe don't trust God because they've been down that road before. I trusted you with this and you let me down. I trusted you, I took a risk, I felt that you were calling me in this one direction and I did it. And then it didn't work out and it failed. How could I trust Him again? But let me tell you this. I think sometimes God only asks for us to trust Him with a step. Just one step. He asks us to take that one step, but then we end up running a mile. He asks us to trusts us with that one part of the blueprint, and then we end up building the whole house on our own and in our own effort. And we do fail. But can we learn to just trust Him with the one step? God wants us to trust Him step by step, detail by detail. That's all, nothing more. He's not asking you to run the marathon. He's asking you to train. He's asking you to put the shoes on. He's asking you to tie up your shoes. He's asking you to open the door and take a step outside. That's all. God asks you to trust Him step by step. So trust Him. Now here's why it's always so important to trust in God. Because His plans will always trump our plans. His story will always be so much greater than our own. And His story always ends in victory. Now I'm not saying that means you're going to win every battle. I'm not saying that means you're never going to experience another hurt or disappointment. But when you trust Him, it always ends in victory. Now I know it's hard because it's going to require you to put in a lot of faith. It's going to require you to put in a lot of patience. But remember that it's always going to require Him. And when you have Him, you have His victory. Now here's a truth you can stand on. It comes from Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. And it simply says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy path." And what that means is that when it comes to your plans, get rid of them. When it comes to your own ideas of the outcome and your own predictions of what the ultimate end will be, throw it aside. Begin to embrace God's plans. Begin to embrace His story. And in doing that, you will embrace His victories. I know it's scary when you think about the purpose that you have, when you think about your desires to bring about change in this world, when you think about reaching out to those people that seem so unreachable at times. It is scary, but ultimately it is so worth it to trust Him because He loves you and He has the very best intentions for you. That's why He created you. So I hope you're encouraged today, good people. And always know that I love you with a love that comes from the one up above. Have a good one, guys. Bye.